This is the Louie T Network. Hey, either you're outside or you're
in the lab room.
Who else could it be but me, your man, Louie T? Welcome, you are in the lab room. Of course, I am your host, Lou. Thank you for joining me. This is the NFL Draft Prospects 101, your guide to some of the hottest and biggest names in the 2015 NFL Draft. We're talking edge pass rushers, and that is the deepest position in the draft, at least one of them. You're going to get yourself a quality football player if you're looking for one in the top 10, in the top 15. There are an abundance of these guys, and you can get yourself a quality one in the second, possibly as far as the third round, because there's so many pass rushers. And in a passing league like we're in now, it's important to get you one of these type of guys that can go and hunt the quarterback. Speaking of which, there is not going to be many guys in this draft that hunt the quarterback better than Clemson's Vic Beasley. Let's talk about his strengths and weaknesses as we head to the 2015 NFL Draft. I fell in love with Vic Beasley last year in that I believe it was the Orange Bowl against Ohio State last year. What a game that was. That was just a lot of fun to watch. And because so many guys got drafted out of those two schools last season, I just watched that game so many times, and the guy that just kept flashing on the screen was number 3, Vic Beasley. And I just wondered, I said, is this guy, what is his classification? Is he a junior? Is he a senior? What is this guy? I gotta know, this guy is just making plays. I mean, he was running circles around Jack Newhart, who was drafted in the second round by the Indianapolis Colts. He was lapping Jack Newhart in that game and just causing problems. I had to know who this guy was, so I did my homework on Vic Beasley last year as well as this year. So know a lot about Vic Beasley. And so at 6'3", 246 pounds, he has solid size. And I think at the combine, he wowed some people with his size because he came in, because this was a guy that played around 235 pounds, much like a Randy Gregory at Clemson during his career, but he was able to bulk up leading up to the combine. A lot of people were impressed with his size, and not only were they impressed with his size, but the way he carried the weight. He lit the combine on fire with that, sub 4.6 40, and I'm talking low 4.5s even, and the broad jump, the explosion that he showed in his vertical. He lit the combine ablaze and set himself up to be one of the better pass rushers in this draft and one of the guys coming off the board very quickly. So his size is an attribute that is a strength for Vic Beasley. High motor. Watch this guy on tape, and he is just all over the place in terms of running around and trying to get to the football. I love his motor, and to me, it's a prerequisite, to be honest with you. If you're going to be an elite pass rusher, you have to have a high motor, because you're not always going to win with your initial move up the field. You're going to have to get, coverage sacks. You're going to have to just stay at it. Sometimes just by sheer desire to want to get to the quarterback, you're going to get there. And it may take 2 or 3 different moves to get there, but you'll get there eventually. And it takes a high motor guy. Sometimes you go up the field, you get washed away, quarterback scrambles out, and you run into a sack just because you got a high motor. Guys run away from you, play goes away from you, you're on the strong side, play goes weak side, you got to chase it backside, and you got to have that kind of motor if you're going to be an elite pass rusher. Vic Beasley has exactly that. Explosive athlete. I really don't have to go into how explosive he is. You saw it at the combine. I mean, the numbers he put up there were cartoonish, ridiculous. He was the talk of the combine when it came to defensive linemen and linebackers and edge pass rushers. He was the guy that everybody was talking about walking away from the combine. He lit it up, and the tape matches the explosiveness that you saw at the combine. It's no secret that this guy is an elite level athlete, and it translates to the field. That's why he's able to get to the quarterback. Great hand usage. I love the way that he uses his hands to get the tackle's hands down and get him off balance to allow him to bend the edge. I love the way that he uses the rip move to bend, and he's one of these guys that will bend at awkward angles to beat that tackle, dip his shoulders, get low, and get around and get to the quarterback and get the sack. And so I love his hand usage. The best pass rushers in the game know how to use their hands. And that's, to me, one of the best kept secrets of pass rushing. A lot of people want to talk about speed and spin moves and all that stuff. But if you know how to use your hands, you will get 5 to 6 sacks a season just off of great hand usage. And Vic Beasley has that in his repertoire. Very quick inside move. To me, his best attribute as a pass rusher is this inside move. This move is so stellar that, to me, it's his primary move. It's the move that's going to keep tackles up at night, because if you don't have help to the inside and you're not expecting it, you're not going to be able to block him when he makes this quick move to the inside. There's no wasted motion here. As soon as the ball is snapped, I'm going inside. There's no hard outside, back inside, none of that. This is, boom, I'm going inside, you can't beat me. And naturally for a tackle, you look to open up outside. You're not looking to open up inside. So if you go out of your stance and your first step is here, you're done. He's going inside. It's so quick. It's so lightning fast inside that he stops run plays with this move. This isn't just a pass rushing move here. This is a move that will allow him to get into the backfield and penetrate 3-4 yards into the backfield. Running back doesn't even have a chance. And even if he breaks the tackle, because Vic Beasley is in the backfield and makes him have to make a move, here comes the cavalry, and this guy's going to lose 2 or 3 yards on the play. This is an explosive move, one of the best moves you will find of any of these edge pass rushers in this draft. His inside move is deadly. Now, there is a problem with this move. We'll talk about that when we get to the cons. But I'll tell you what, if he refines his game and he learns how to use this, when to use this, and set guys up, this move here is going to make this man a lot of money throughout his career. Natural pass rusher. To me, right now, the guys that I've watched, Vic Beasley and Shane Ray are your natural pass rushers. If you're talking Elite Four, and I've talked about who the Elite Four are in Shane Ray, Vic Beasley, Randy Gregory, and Dante Fowler Jr. Those are your Elite Four when you're talking pass rushers. And there are some other really good pass rushers in this draft. Bud Dupree, Eli Harold. There are some guys that can generate pressure on the quarterback. So, you know, Odigizua from UCLA. There are going to be a lot of guys we're going to talk about on this program, but I tell you what, Vic Beasley, for me, is a natural pass rusher. One of these guys that can put his hand in the dirt, that can stand up on the outside, on the edge, and play that 3-4 outside linebacker, get to the quarterback. He's got an array of moves. He's got the total package. He's got some things that he's got to work on, but this guy has it. And he's going to be a force in the next level at the National Football League level. And I'll tell you what, he is a natural pass rusher, and he's going to be one of these guys that comes off the board fairly quickly in this spring's draft. You go to his cons. He will get gobbled up in the run game. And he's one of these guys that I want to see him be more physical at the point of attack. I want to see him be one of these guys that just causes problems in the run game, other than when he knifes into the backfield, because he will do that on occasion. He will knife into the backfield. I talked about that quick inside move that is just ridiculous. Well, what happens when you don't get inside on that? What happens when you just get blocked in the play? I want to see him stack and shed better. I want to see him find a way to the football. He doesn't do that enough for me in the run game. That's something that I want to see out of Vic Beasley a little bit more often. Will allow himself to be washed inside. He's one of these guys that will go to the laundromat, and he'll allow an offensive lineman to wash him clean. And that frustrates me. And I talked about the elite inside move, right? I talked about that already, and how it's something that separates him from some of the other guys in this draft. That same move will get him in trouble, though. And the thing about Vic Beasley, and I'll talk about this a little bit later on, is he can become predictable. And when he's having success with that inside move, he'll go to the well over and over and over again, to the point now where that tackle, he's looking for the inside move. He's looking for Vic Beasley to crash inside and try to make something happen. Well, guess what that tackle's going to do if he knows it's coming? If I know it's a fastball and I'm gearing up for fastball and I'm sitting dead red fastball and I get a fastball, I'm depositing it in the seats. It's a home run. And so if that tackle knows he's sitting on inside move, you give him inside move, he's going to wash your butt clean inside. He's taking some of your teammates with you. You're not just affecting you on this play, you're affecting the defensive tackle that's right next to you. And if it's as bad as it can be, you'll affect the next defensive tackle next to him too. Washes these guys clean inside. Vic Beasley will go inside, crash inside hard, and that tackle, and sometimes the guard is even watching. I mean, you get beat enough, you're like, hey man, look, this guy's going inside a lot. Just keep your eyes. Sometimes he'll try to come inside. If you could just give him a little shoulder and kind of hold him up a little bit, I'll take care of the rest. These guys communicate. And so he'll go inside, he'll get caught up, and then they'll just wash him clean inside. Next thing you know, there's a gaping hole to the outside. You watch that Georgia tape. First game of the season, this year, 2014 versus Georgia. There are a number of times he crashes inside, and Todd Gurley gets the football and looks, his eyes light up like, wow, that's a big cutback lane. Play's supposed to go this way. I'm going that way, man. There's nobody over here because Vic Beasley tried to crash inside, leaves a gaping hole on a cutback, and he takes advantage of it. Gotta stay at home. Cannot allow yourself to be washed completely clean inside. Will overcommit up the field. He's an aggressive football player. Vic Beasley is an aggressive football player. I talked about him getting washed to the inside. He'll also run up the field because he's a natural pass rusher with explosiveness off the snap. So he can get by a tackle. He can beat guys up the field to the quarterback. If you watch the Florida State game from 2014, I believe it was this year, Jameis Winston didn't play. He was just an absolute animal in that game. To me, I said, Cameron Ervin, I'm glad you moved to center because Vic Beasley was starting to expose the fact that your lateral quickness wasn't the greatest in the world. And so him moving to center, it just rolls his stop at a different position because Vic Beasley gave that man work that night. I mean, he was running past Cameron Ervin before he would even get out of the stance. And so he was causing problems that night for the Florida State Seminoles. And he can do that. But sometimes, and this happens to some of the best pass rushers in the game, they get greedy, they want to go up the field, they want to make something happen, and they run themselves right out of the play. And Vic Beasley will do that. He will run up the field, being aggressive, tackle will just give him one of those olays, olay! Send his butt right up the field. Next thing you know, you got a gaping hole over here. Or the quarterback now can rush outside and find a receiver or even scramble that way and get some yardage. I mean, there's so many possibilities. When you go up the field and run yourself out of the play, there's so many possibilities that now are afforded to the offense because you didn't stay in gap integrity. You didn't manage to rush in a sensible way. Now you put your defense at a disadvantage. That's something else he's going to have to work on in his game. Needs to refine his pass rush. And I talked about this earlier, and I said I was going to elaborate on it more. He needs to refine his pass rush. I want to see him come with more of a game plan. I want to see him set tackles up. Okay, I just got you with that inside move. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to fake inside and I'm going to go outside. Or I'm going to just go straight speed outside. You're looking for the inside. You're scared of the inside move. I'm going to go straight outside. Or, and a thing I love about him, he will convert speed to power. He will jack tackles up, put them on skates. I love the fact that he will convert. That should be a pro. I should have talked about that a little bit more. But he will convert speed to power. So I love that. So that's also another facet to his game. So when you get a tackle thinking about speed, now you can jack him up. Get that shoulder up under that shoulder pad, take that one arm, drive him back into the quarterback. Start having him dancing all the way back into the lap of the quarterback. Okay? Now he's looking for speed, maybe even power. Now you go inside. Set tackles up, use it to your advantage. He didn't do that. He didn't come with a game plan. That will come over time, but right now he's very predictable. If the inside move works once, he's going to the well again and again and again. Eventually that tackle's going to catch up to what you're doing. He's going to block you. Then if the outside speed rush is working, he'll go to that again and again and again. Switch it up. Use your different moves. You got a lot of moves in the arsenal. Pull another move out of the bag of tricks and give it to him. Give him something else to think about. If he refines his pass rush, this guy is going to be deadly at the next level. Vic Beasley has a lot of skills that you can't teach. Either you have it or you don't. Now he just needs to refine his pass rush to become the elite pass rusher that we all believe he can be at the next level. Like I said, with all the Elite Four, they're coming off the board quick. If you want one of these guys, most likely, you're going to have to come into the top 10. I don't see many of these guys leaving the top 10. If at all one, don't know who that one guy is going to be because it's all about who's your flavor. I mean, these four guys could easily come off the board in the first 7 picks. I mean, they're that elite You want one of these guys, you're going to have to act fast in the 2015 NFL Draft. That's going to do it for Vic Beasley and his NFL Draft Prospects 101 breakdown that happens in the National Football League, whether big or small. We cover it all here in the lab room. Come back and join me as I continue to break down anything and everything in the National Football League. Come back. We're going to keep running through these players one by one. See you in a bit. There's plenty more where that came from. While you're here, subscribe to the channel. If you want more Louie T, be sure to follow me on Twitter @InTheLabRoom, or you can like the Facebook page @InTheLabRoom. That's In the Lab Room on Facebook and @InTheLabRoom on Twitter. Don't forget, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so.
Mm-hmm.